I have a lot of things I want to get off my chest.
Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change.
Finally, The Rock has come back. I hate this idea that you're the best.
And if you're not down with that, we got two words for ya!
I'm the best in the world.
I fight at WrestleMania for the very, very small percentage of people that walk this planet and say I am proud to be, I'm sorry, a professional wrestler.
Oops, I'm breaking the fourth wall.
It's Podcast of the Immortals with your hosts, Matt Bush and Jimmy Bellamy.
Mobile games.
The what?
Do you go to Starbucks?
No.
Okay. Well, I got into coffee for the first time ever, 2 years ago?
That's like saying I started crack about 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was about 2 years ago. And now that I drink coffee on a regular basis, I go to Starbucks because it's right by work. Because it's everywhere. It's by everything.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are a member of... Well, no, you don't even have to be a member. On their little condiments table, they have this little card. Each week it has like a different free download. It could be a book, it could be a song, it could be a game. And lately I've gotten just these cool game apps. I never played mobile games, but there's some cool ones. And then if you are a subscriber to their app or whatever, Starbucks app, you'll get other freebies just for kicks. Like every week they'll send you a free download. So I've got these games, Lub versus Dub, and then Ski Safari, Doodle Jump, and...
Play Doodle Jump.
Yeah, I've got Christmas Edition and Easter, and then there's another game. Wide Sky and Snail Bob, and they're all just super fun. So I've been just hooked on those. Playing them a lot.
Cool.
Wasting a lot of time.
Yeah, I usually just read it and read about wrestling.
I gotta start reading Reddit.
Yeah, you do.
I don't know.
You need to, and then you subscribe to R Squared Circle, get all the inside information and awesome GIFs or GIFs, like the one of Bad News Barrett that I sent you.
I told you about GIF, right?
Yeah. Well, no, I had heard it, but I remember you talking to me about it.
Can I get some? Can we get some decorum?
Did you like that one?
I did. Like them all.
Yeah. Oh, Slater's gonna slate. But yeah, we were just talking about, before we went on the air here, that this podcast is Immortals, by the way.
Reunited, and it feels so good. Reunited, and it's understood. We're no longer at WrestleNews.com
with a Z.
We're back on Podbean because we are reunited. Hey, Mo, what's up, buddy? Hello, Puggy.
Yes, we're back on Podbean. We're back on top. We started from the bottom, now we're here.
Actually, we started on top and never left.
That's right.
Get it right. Yeah. Episode 56, as you can read. 56, it's our second episode of 2014, because technically it's the first one we've recorded in 2014.
True. Did you have a good New Year's?
I had a great New Year. You?
Yeah, from what I... Yeah. I had to work a lot. This is my first day off. I worked 5 days before Christmas. I had Christmas Day off. Then I had New Year's Eve off. And then this is my first day off since then. So I've had
working on the railroad all the live long day.
All the live long day. So this feels great. I slept in today. Well, till 8:30 when I got your text.
Yeah. Oh, I woke you up?
You did, but it's cool.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I want to get Podbean up and running.
You seem to be up every hour of the day, so I feel like I can send you a message anytime. I'm sorry.
It's okay. No, I do tend to.
Although, I do apologize, but you have complete control over that with your, you can put your do not disturb option on. And all that.
I have it on. Well, I keep it on because I'm a key holder at work. So if there's a robbery or something, I need to go. Yeah.
Good call. I forgot you're a big shooter.
I am a big shooter.
I was going to say, I went to my brother's house to meet or to hang out with his wife and
Wow,
his son.
just his wife?
No. It was. I'm trying to. It's hard to say. My two brothers, their two wives, and then one of them has a son. So they were all there. And the son is like my nephew Jack. He's 2.
Okay.
And then Kate and I went over there. So it was like 8 or it was 9 of us because my brother had 2 of his friends over too. So it was 4 couples, and we had a great time. And then we all by 11:30 we all just like went home.
You didn't even make it to midnight?
I was so tired, so I went back home, and I mean I was still with Kate, so we rang in the New Year together. But
I bet you did.
you're so gross. You're so gross. You always take it to dirty town.
Yeah. I went out with our good friend Andy on New Year's Eve. That was fun, and we went to Red Lobster, and
Ooh, fancy.
it was good. I had the what is it called?
The cheesy bread.
Oh, I did have some cheesy bread.
They're
The biscuits. Yeah, cheesy biscuits. And then I had it's like a sample platter kind of thing. It had lobster, crab, 2 different kinds of shrimp, potatoes, rice, and something else, I think. But it was really good.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. Then I went and played apples to apples afterwards, and then I was falling asleep at like 12:15, and I went home and I slept. So I feel old.
No, my nephew wasn't going to sleep. He was being a pain. So my brother and I watched, oh God, what was it? Daniel the Tiger or something. One of those kids shows.
Yeah.
And it's funny, growing up, like being a kid, we had awesome childhoods. We got, as far as amenities, I don't know what your childhood was like.
Yeah.
We had,
it was
cartoons
fine.
and toys and whatever,
Oh, yeah.
and video games. So certainly it was awesome, especially better than, the kids who grew up 10 years before us.
Yeah.
But now kids with Apple TV and iPads and everything, like my brother's house, he has, the standard, computer, iPad, Apple TV, Xbox 360, all this stuff. So, I mean, Jack has never known a world without on-demand viewing.
Yeah.
So you can watch any show anytime. And he just makes the call and like, oh, I want to watch Curious George. All right, we'll throw on Curious George. And we watched a couple episodes of this Daniel the Tiger. And, I mean, my brother tapped out, and I was ready to tap out. I'm like, I can barely keep my eyes open. And then Jack outlasted both of us, and then I just decided I needed to go home, so...
Sounds like an exciting night. Yeah.
It was nice. We had a couple beers, some champagne, good food. We just had a bunch of snacks, but I'm not a big New Year's guy, and I never have been. Even if you would have said, like, if your party prime is 21 to 25, I mean, I never was a New Year's guy. I prefer to avoid as much stupidity as possible, and I feel like on a day like St. Patrick's Day and New Year's, when a bunch of people are being morons, that's the best time to just stay put.
Yeah. Dang, we sound old right now.
Oh, we do?
Yeah, we're like, no, but just a sensible time with children and a nice meal.
I'll say this, though. My favorite time ever has been being home. I mean, much like I like that we record here at my house because I don't have to get up and go anywhere. So kudos to you for coming over all the time. But my favorite times are staying put. When I was in college, we would host parties, and to me that was the best. Even when we had everyone in the house was well over 21, a lot of us just preferred to stay in instead of going out and wasting your money and trying to figure out how to get home. And some of my favorite times now, if I'm gonna like party, is sitting at home playing video games and having a few beverages.
Yeah,
and that's it.
Or watching Royal Rumble.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I cannot wait to do. That's good.
I took the whole day off for the Rumble.
Good. I that reminds me, I usually take the day after. I'm going to take the day after off.
Nice. So I'm going to head over like noon or 1 on that day. Maybe watch some previous Rumbles. Andy's still got all the pay-per-views from last year on his DVR.
Oh, sweet.
So we can watch Jericho return. So that's going to be sweet.
Can't wait.
Wait, do you have any New Year's resolutions?
I don't do that either. I don't have any resolutions, but coincidentally, I'm not drinking in January. I did that last year just for kicks.
Yeah.
Just to... Kate had said... Excuse me, burping. Kate had said she wasn't going to drink last January, just for the month, just to, like...
Cleanse.
Lose the weight and whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. And I think it was like February 10th, and her dad offered me a beer one night. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll have a beer. And so I made it like 41 days.
Wow. You're like Jesus.
Yeah. And then, yeah. Not quite. And then I just got it.
Yeah.
So we're doing that again this year. And it's funny, I feel good because I've never been a big drinker, as you know, but I get so gassy the day after drinking.
Yeah.
I managed to, stay relatively smart and not drink to the point where I'm going to have a hangover or whatever. But I just if I have one or two beers, I'm just super gassy the next day or two. And because I've gone now, New Year's Eve, I only had 2 beers and a glass of champagne. But so for roughly 7-8 days, I mean, it's a great feeling. I love it.
Yeah.
I think you don't realize until you don't have beer for a while how much it like weighs you down. It's just like it's like wearing lead.
Yeah.
And
shit, I had a beer at lunch. I'm not gonna lie. This is technically my Saturday because I have 2 days off in a row. And I'm sitting at home and I'm watching. I actually watched WrestleMania 12 today, so I'm sitting there watching. And I'm like,
was that the Michaels Diesel one?
No, that was at 11.
At 11,
it was
okay.
Shawn Michaels versus HBK Iron Man match.
Shawn Michaels versus HBK. He fought. I'm just kidding. I do that all the time.
Oh my god!
With HBK,
Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart.
And how many times have I said on this podcast? I've said Triple H when I've been meaning to say HBK. It throws me off.
Well, it must have been that one beer in my foggy mind.
The Iron Man match. That was a good match.
That was sweet. The first half an hour or so was a lot of holds. And, they were obviously pacing themselves, but there were some good spots in it. There was an awesome spot where Bret Hart Shawn Michaels was running towards Bret in the corner, and Bret, flipped him over, the ring post, and Shawn landed really hard on the outside. That was pretty cool. And then Shawn jumped from the top of the ring post onto Bret Hart like a lateral press on the outside, and Bret got hit pretty good, and it was sweet. HBK was just killing Bret Hart the final 5 minutes of the match. It looked like he was going to win. He was doing elbows, he was doing his kip ups, he was going, he did everything but the super kick, and then he, with a minute to go, he went onto the top rope again, and he went to do a drop kick, and Bret Hart caught him. He lands on his back and he puts him into the sharpshooter, and he's just sitting there for the final minute, just trying not to tap out, and it goes to the last second. Ding, ding, ding. Match is over. 0-0. He didn't tap out.
And he's leaving with the title.
Bret Hart's leaving with the title. He's giving high fives to the fans. Gorilla Monsoon comes in, who was the president at the time, orders the match restarted, much like The Rock did at Royal Rumble last year. But The Rock had no authority to be
who that reminds me, who restarted the Rumble last year?
It was The Rock.
He didn't restart the match. He restarted the WrestleMania match between Miz and Cena.
No, he did that too. But The Rock, he picked up the match, or the.
But didn't someone make it official though? Was it Maddox?
No, it wasn't Maddox.
Vicky.
Crap, I don't know.
Because I think someone made it official. I don't think they just restarted it because Rock said no.
Well, yeah, because they
got something for you.
Okay, sweet. They had announced The Rock the winner because the Shield had obviously interfered. And he's like, chapstick.
There you go. You can have it.
Thank you.
Do you own chapstick right now?
No,
presently?
I don't.
This is the kind to get. It's
All
the
right.
same kind as this, but I accidentally ripped the whole label off of this one.
Were you looking at my lips or something?
No, I just felt like a dick for telling you I wasn't going to give you chapstick.
Tell your reason why.
Matt asked me for chapstick right before we went on the air, and he did it in the Napoleon Dynamite voice, so I just thought he was reciting the line from the movie about my lips are real bad, I want chapstick. And I was like, Napoleon, you have no. But I told him I don't like sharing chapstick. It's one of those things, because I, planned on using it after. I don't want to put it on my lips if it's touched your lips.
Yeah. Well, that's the number one way that herpes are spread, so.
Well, I'm not concerned about herpes.
Oh, okay.
But
Good.
I just figured, no. But no, that was a mean thing for me to say. So now you get that. I think there's probably half a stick in there, maybe even more.
Thank you, sir.
I ended up buying this because I lost this for a day or two. And I ended up buying this. And then I found that in a pant pocket.
Yes.
Or no. A hooded sweatshirt pocket.
Oh.
This hooded sweatshirt, in fact.
Neat.
The one I wear. This is my podcast sweatshirt. The one I wear every time.
I've never. Well, you wear that one or the other one?
The Islanders one.
Yeah, the Islanders.
And you probably think I'm a piss bum because I'm always wearing this, but as you saw, I was in a shirt and tie when you came in.
Yeah, you were.
And then...
Well, I usually wear this one.
And then I got down to
CM Punk. Yeah,
nothing else.
Skivvies. I've never bought a chapstick before. Like, you know, when my lips hurt, they just hurt. Like, I don't... But today I'm just like, oh my gosh. Like, no matter what I do to it, they just feels like it's just ready to break.
There probably will be an article about it on Upworthy someday, but I've been told by some people that they think chapstick has something in it that causes you to need it over and over again. So, like, if you were to do what you do and bite the bullet, eventually you'll get over the chapped lips, but now because you used chapstick, your lips will be chapped constantly.
Really?
And you'll have to use this over and over and over again. I don't know if that's true, but...
It's kind of like heroin.
I do know that I usually always have chapstick with me.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's mental, though. It's mind over matter, because I had eye surgery 2 years ago. I had LASIK done, and since I've had LASIK, my eyes have been drier than usual, and they told me that would be a side effect. So I would walk around with these refresh tears in a bottle.
Yeah.
And I'd use these eye drops constantly. I'd wake up in the morning with eyes that were, my lids would be sticking to my eyes, and it hurt. But then I ran out, and I ended up just not having it for a few days until I went to Target again, and then I'm like, you know what, my eyes haven't hurt the last couple of days, I'm not going to get it. So I haven't been using it for the last 2 months, and I haven't needed it. I haven't felt the dryness that I felt constantly when I was using it after, but I don't know, who knows, maybe come summertime I will need it. Maybe it's just the weather,
maybe. But yeah, that was my story of the chapstick.
Yeah, did I? Yeah.
No, I forget what we were talking about.
I cut you off, kind of.
No, it was something
like I usually do.
It's okay.
It was you had chapstick. Your lips normally hurt. You just take one for the team and just forget it.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's our chapstick story.
That's our compelling chapstick story. Well, we should get into some wrestle news.
Yeah, we should.
Huge announcement tomorrow with Vince McMahon, HBK, Stone Cold Steve Austin, a couple other people.
CM Punk, was he there?
I don't know.
Vince, Stone Cold, Triple H,
Papa
HBK.
Shango.
Yeah, well, it is in Vegas, and that's where the Godfather
is. Is it in Vegas?
Yeah.
But yeah, they haven't announced what it is. It's tomorrow night, Wednesday night at what, 9:30?
8:30 Central.
8:30 Central. By all accounts, it's going to be the WWE Network. They have the logo up there when they showed the announcement, so it's coming, and I hope they do it right. That's all I got to say about that.
Which is, you told me.
Yes.
What would you like it to be?
On demand. I want it like a Netflix kind of service where you can access every movie that they've made, every pay-per-view, every Raw. I know that they like to monetize as far as like best of and, put out all these sets and, back catalogs, but I just want to be able to click a button and watch the 1994 March 7th Raw. Just see what's going on, they're not going to lose that much money as far as DVD sales, because like their biggest sale of the year was WrestleMania, and that was like 300,000 units. It's not a huge seller anyways. If we're paying like $7 a month for this online subscription that we could stream through our PlayStation 3, which would be awesome, they're going to get more money that way anyways. That's why Netflix has thrived when Blockbuster fell. This is the way to go, and I just want their back catalog. I just want to be able to watch anything I want at any time.
Would you want that only, or would you want that in addition to an actual freestanding television network that you would pay $15 a month for?
I would want that only.
Okay. I think it's going to be a television network, and I think there will be an online element. I don't think that we'll get our way when it comes to wanting access to all of its archives. That'd be awesome if it did. If it was that way, there's only a couple things. One, and I don't know if this would be a legitimate concern or if they'd worry about people taking it and then pirating it, if you had access to everything, or if they would want the control of, hey, we're going to dispense this here now, then we'll give you a little bit of something else later. And I also don't know how much time it would take for them to actually digitize all of this if it hasn't been done already.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love that idea. I would love to see it. And I'm the same way with you. I would love to watch a Rumble from, the early 90s, or check out some of the Raws that I grew up on, and if just kind of like romanticize about, oh God, I remember this one. I remember when Kurt Angle won this title, and I remember when this happened, and also appreciate all those other things that happened in the show that, aside from Chris Benoit, which I'm sure they'll completely remove any trace of him. Just like I saw something online the other day, it was the 10 most stunning debuts, or 10 superstar debuts or whatever. It wasn't necessarily stunning, but it made a reference to Perry Saturn, and it talked about him coming to WWF with Eddie Guerrero and Dean Malenko.
Yeah.
Did not mention Chris Benoit.
Chris Benoit.
But I'd love to see that, and remember the Val Venus versus the Road Dogg on Raw, not just the big Stone Cold segment at the end, and appreciate all those.
Well, that's what's so great about the Raw 20 DVD that they just came out with. You get to watch the entire episode. They have full length, 2 hours long or 3 hours long, depending on when it was filmed. Episodes of Raw, and they have the segments with Too Cool, or it's not just Stone Cold, The Rock. It's everything from that episode, and that's what I just want to be able to go back and watch a few things. That's all I really want to do, is just be like, just flip one on, not even knowing what's going to happen, and just see like what was going on in that episode. What have I forgotten about? What have and it'd be awesome if they had like the WCW back stuff too, and you could watch like and they could have a package like the Monday Night Wars.
They could have ECW.
They have ECW.
They have the AWA tape collection.
They have everything. They have no competitors, so why limit the content? If your fans want to see it and they're willing to pay for it just to have access to it, put it out there.
Yeah. I wonder if they'll make it complicated where they'll have it step by step. Like if they have, you get X amount of views, you can watch this many programs for $5 a month. If you want to step it up to 10, you get unlimited. I wonder if they'll do something like that.
I think it'll be more like $10 a month gets you access to the catalog. $15 a month gets you the new shows, plus 4 pay-per-views. $20 a month gets you all the pay-per-views, plus this, plus that.
I'd be down for something that allowed you to get a break on pay-per-views, and I feel like we would be getting a break because we'd more than be getting our money's worth for the content we'd be watching.
Oh yeah,
I pay $8 a month for Netflix, and I probably don't watch. I mean, there are months I don't watch it.
Yeah,
but I continue to have it because when I do watch it, I watch the crap out of it, and Kate watches too. So I mean, she and I both have user accounts on the same thing, so she can watch whenever she wants.
And I can imagine we would split the cost, know. And Andy, especially if they have the pay-per-views in it, I can just bring over my PS3 and stream it, or he has an Xbox, so like we could just watch them that way. Yeah. Although I'd probably want an HD feed and stuff. But
I would. They'll have to do something like that. I can see this having a significant online element, based only on the fact that they have tried to make themselves omnipresent when it comes to being online and having social media in their programming. We'll see. It'll be a good step, whatever it is.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I just hope they do it right. I hope it's not just like, it's for $10 a month. You get 4 pay-per-views and we'll have shows on like Legends House, and they're not going to be MTV. They're not going to be, Comedy Central or anything like that. It's a very niche thing, and people are willing to pay for it if you give them access to what they want to see. That's all.
Yeah, and on demand probably will be the only way it works, because it can't be a thing like ESPN Classic where they're like, all right, from 3 to 4, you're going to get, in your house pay-per-view Shawn Michaels versus Mankind or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you get to see the Godwins fight Legion of Doom or something.
Yeah, it just doesn't work. But that's I'm worried that's going to be what they announce too, I don't know. We'll find out tomorrow.
It's a big step because it'll grow from there. They'll be able to figure out what works, what doesn't, and maybe make some changes where needed.
We got some exciting news that we forgot to tell you about too. We ordered audio equipment.
Yeah, big steps.
Yeah, we're stepping up from our little mini recorder Olympus. You've been very, very good to us.
Yes, you have. Almost a year here.
Almost a year full. But we're stepping up to the big time. We got new mics. We got a mixer. We got other stuff. Cords and
headphones.
Adapters, headphones.
Yeah, we'll have a nice professional setup. Thanks to you and thanks to Andy and for scouting everything out and making it happen.
The only thing, we're going to have to probably not record in here anymore.
Yeah, we're going to have to find...
we can do it on a table or something.
We could find a spot at work, too, where I think we could do it.
Yeah.
Would you want something with better walls and sound that's conducive to recording?
I don't think that's going to be a huge problem because these mics are condenser mics, so it only picks up right in front of them. It cuts out a lot of the other stuff. Literally, we could do it at the kitchen table, I think, and it'd be okay. But we have equipment so we can hook up our computer to it and we can play music right as we're, rather than from our phone,
Yeah.
So when we sing, it's going to sound so much better.
Yeah, when you play Africa,
it's going to come right from its own feed. If we do a phone interview, we can plug in the phone right into the thing and hear a much clearer audio. I'm very excited about it. I'm so pumped.
It's the next step in the evolution of podcast. More like evolution.
Yeah.
Of Podcast of the Immortals.
So look forward to that. That should be next week. I do have a little funny story. I accidentally charged it to the University of Minnesota Duluth on Amazon.com.
Thanks, UMD.
Thanks, UMD, for the audio equipment. I got a little email today saying, "What the heck? Why are these charges on there? You haven't worked for UMD in over a year." So yeah, I have to write them a check. But yeah, other wrestle news: Dolph Ziggler apparently suffered a concussion on the taping for Main Event, I believe, or Superstars, and that's bad news. I mean, he suffered that concussion against ADR a while ago, and it was a huge setback to his title reign. And I hope that he can come back soon and keep performing. He had that big win just last week, wasn't it?
Who did he fight last week? I can't even remember, and I don't think he can remember either.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, between the beatings that he took from Jack Swagger and Del Rio, who did he fight now that he got the?
I honestly didn't write it down, and I can't remember.
That's okay. Get better, Dolphy.
Yeah, we miss you.
Little Ziggy Poo.
He should have been a star.
There's still hope.
Yeah, there's still hope. Brock Lesnar apparently is in talks with UFC to make a return with Dana White. I highly doubt that this is going to happen. His stomach problem, was the cause of his retirement from UFC. I don't see him going back on that, especially... I just got a message from Callum Johnson on Twitter. Podcast coming out today, guys. So yeah, yes, it is. And plus Lesnar signed through 2015 WrestleMania 31. So I don't see him going back to UFC anytime soon. I think he's just trying to leverage, kind of maybe a better contract with WWE. It's like they're playing off each other. So yeah, what do you think of that?
I don't think he'll come back just because of his age. I don't think
he'll go back to 32 now or something.
I don't think he'll go back to UFC.
Yeah.
I could see him maybe scoring one big deal, but the training that's required for that and the beating you have to take even when you win, I don't see him doing it.
Sure.
But then again, we do know Brock is big on money, so maybe he'll do it.
Brock is big on money, and I was talking to some coworkers about this. The biggest, they were saying that this UFC 168 between Anderson Silva and I forget his name now. Chris Weidman.
Weidman, yes, Chris Weidman.
Chris Weidman for was it the light heavyweight championship that Silva had lost in his previous match was the biggest main event of all time. And I'm like, no, it was not. If you go back and look at UFC's top 6 drawing pay-per-views, Brock Lesnar was in 4 of them, including the top 2. And the number 1 is UFC 100 when he fought Frank Mir for the UFC welterweight championship. Or, I'm sorry, UFC heavyweight championship unification match. Are you filming me?
I'm posing.
You're posing?
Posting a photo of
cool.
the podcast being recorded.
That is the number 1. It outsold any WrestleMania. It had 1.6 million buys. The number 2 was Lesnar versus Carwin at UFC 116, and that had 1.11 million buys. Lesnar was the biggest draw in UFC history, and that's not even questionable. Not even close.
He's a star.
Yeah. I love UFC, or Lesnar's little... But yes. Okay, so Lesnar definitely not going back to UFC. I would be shocked by it. But according to the Los Angeles Times, he's still in contact with them. But let's get into old school Raw.
Let's do it.
Kicks off with... Woo!
Ric Flair, baby.
Flair.
Woo.
Does his Flair shtick, shiving and jiving and whatever. Until Randy Orton comes out. They hug and Flair congratulates him on his big championship victory. Orton says that he respects him, but then starts venting about how the authorities' decision to put Cena in a match for him against him at the title at Royal Rumble is stupid. He has nothing to prove to Cena. He's already beaten him. Says he's the man. But then Flair slows his roll. He says to be the man, you gotta beat the man. Woo! And that's what he did for 3 decades, and why he has 2 WWE Hall of Fame rings. He says to go out there and wrestle him again. Then Orton says Flair is the most overrated superstar in history. Orton asks Flair to leave his ring. Flair says he isn't leaving. He says he was chosen by him and Hunter a decade ago. Or he says Orton was chosen by him and Hunter a decade ago because of his natural talent, but he's had an immature punk attitude that he still has to this day. Orton then threatens Flair until Cena comes out. He backs up Flair and threatens Orton, and then Orton leaves the ring. I thought it was good until the end. I thought back in Stone Cold kind of days, Stone Cold would come out and they would have fought, but Cena just kind of got in there like, oh, bring it, and then Orton leaves, and it was like, oh, okay, that could have been good.
Give me a hell yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Good, I like that.
Yeah, that was good?
That was a good Austin.
Stone Cold E.T.
I forgot about that.
You forgot about Stone Cold E.T.
Stone Cold E.T.
Wants some fried chicken.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe a large soda.
Yeah. So what did you think of the segment?
It was okay, except I kept looking at Flair like, God, he looks tired, old, and beaten up.
He does look old.
I mean, he looks puffy. He looks really puffy.
Maybe he's on some medication.
Probably.
Yeah.
He's probably been going through a rough time since his son died. The segment was okay. I was really hoping for some kind of Flair shenanigans against Cena, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have been perfect the way it was set up.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to see Flair double-cross Shayna.
Yeah.
It was okay. I like old school Raw, but there's always a part of me that watches it, and it's kind of sad when I see the guys having trouble getting around or not looking like the sculpted gods I remember them looking like. Mm-hmm. Although we've had, decades of Flair looking rough, so I mean, that's really nothing new. But like I said, I said it a few months back that I watched his match against, was it Brock Lesnar from 2002? And he looked good compared to how he looks now. And he looked terrible back then.
It was 12 years ago, though.
Oh, I know. But I remember watching that match live thinking, he looks awful. He looked great.
I remember watching WCW when, the NWO and going, man, Flair's old.
Yeah.
Like 96.
Yeah. And I mean, you look back on that 92 feud with Macho Man on WWF, or in WWF, and you're like...
Yeah, leading to WrestleMania 8.
He looked pretty damn good, and that was like the last time he looked pretty damn good.
It was 22 years ago.
I know.
That's crazy.
You know what I have a hard time thinking about is, and granted all these guys are different ages, but that you'll see a guy like the Road Dogg, or you'll see Brian Christopher, who looked like he was on another planet last night, who wrestled side by side with guys like Goldust and Tensai, and some of those guys are still wrestling and in great shape, and these other guys are just awful. Not awful. I mean, awful's not the word, but just granted, when those guys were in their prime, they were also physically fit.
Oh yeah.
And when you're not wrestling on a regular basis, or you're not in your prime, you're not necessarily sticking to the same fitness regimen that you used to. So that kind of contributes to looking rough.
Well, plus the aging process.
But Booker T looks amazing.
Oh, well, yeah.
I mean, he's always looked amazing.
Yeah. After the segment, the Wyatts enter, and D-Bry comes out in his new blue jumpsuit, the Wyatt jumpsuit. Crowd chants, no, no. Then they begin a Daniel Bryan chant. The Wyatts and Daniel Bryan then took on the Usos and Rey Mysterio. The Usos actually win with a roll-up. Daniel Bryan and the Wyatt crew look pretty pissed off about this turn of events. I think that was a bad mistake for WWE to do, is to have them lose their first match together.
I thought the same thing. The only thing is, though, if they're going to just tease a quick, look, Bryan is either going to bail from them, it made sense, or he's going to take over the leadership role.
Ooh.
This could be a good thing, or he's going to undermine Harper and Rowan, or one of them, like in this case Harper, and have him fall out of favor with the group, and then they'll still be three, but Bryan will end up being the leader or something like that. I don't know. It just felt weird though, but something tells me in a few weeks it's going to be normal. It's just going to feel normal, but it just feels weird.
It does. I did like the entrance with Daniel Bryan. I thought it looked cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with him coming from behind and then walking down with them. I mean, he's got the beard, you know, just like the Wyatts do, so that's something. But it is a strange thing where he's still the most over guy in the company, and he's this bad guy, and he's, I don't know. It's we'll see where it goes. Curtis Axel took on Big E Langston. Ryback's on the mic, of course. That's WWE's favorite thing to do, of course. Langston wins with the big ending after Ryback nearly distracts him into a fruit roll-up finisher, and Langston retains.
You're bearing the lead, though. Ryback, what he said.
What did he say?
He said, "Sorry, boys, if my voice is a little hoarse. I've been hanging around Lillian Garcia." He said that at the start of the match.
I missed that.
Just a terrible, terrible joke. I think the last time someone made fun of Lillian Garcia for looking like a horse, it was Triple H who did it. But I mean, I was surprised he said it, and I'm like, that's not even funny.
No, I wouldn't even gotten that, because I don't think she looks like a horse.
I really don't either.
Yeah.
But that's been a common slam against her in the past. I mean, yeah, she's not John Elway.
No, she's not. Or what's her name from Sex and the City?
Oh, Sarah Jessica Parker.
Yeah, she looks like a foot. Piper's Pit was next with the Shield, and I was excited to see this. Piper, one of the best talkers on the mic. The Shield, you know, with their what they're going through with the power struggle. Ambrose says Piper is lucky the Shield weren't around during his day, or he wouldn't have made it to live to 108 years old.
112.
Or 112. Piper says there's only one man who can match him on the mic, though, and that's CM Punk. Rollins says Piper is jealous because Ambrose is a better U.S. champ than Piper ever was. Piper then says there are cracks in the Shield. Reigns says he will beat CM Punk tonight and threatens Piper. Punk and the New Age Outlaws then run into the ring to clear the ring from the Shield and save Rowdy Piper.
Rodney the Piper.
Rodney the Piper.
I did a Twitter search of Rodney the Piper during that.
Yeah.
And I found one guy who wrote it. I'm sure more people did, but I saw one guy who did it for sure. And I couldn't resist, but I had to retweet him from the podcast account because I giggled the whole time he was on. I'm like, Rodney the Piper. I love what's going on with the Shield. I do.
Me too. It's probably the best stuff that's going on right now in all of WWE, actually. I'm excited to see what happens with the Shield. I think they probably break up sometime just after the Rumble because I think Roman Reigns is about to go off at the Rumble, like 12 guys eliminated type deal.
I've got a feeling that at the Chamber we're going to see a triple threat match between the Shield. I just think we're going to.
That'd
because
be awesome.
If you figure Chamber Championship match will be Orton, Cena, Bryan, Punk, Lesnar, Batista. Right there, those are 6. I could see another match being a triple threat match with the members of the Shield, or Ambrose versus Reigns with Rollins in someone's corner. I don't know, but I do see that happening. I don't see Shield fighting another 3-on-3 match at the Chamber against Jericho or whoever. I think they'll be split by then.
My prediction, sure to go wrong. Roman Reigns will be in the main event of SummerSlam 2014. That's my prediction.
I don't think that's a bad prediction. No. I wish for the sake of the show I disagreed with you, but I think he could be. I really do.
All right, that's my big prediction for 2014 right there. Next match had a returning Del Rio from his concussion, taking on Sin Cara, or Hunikara. Del Rio wins with a kick to the skull. Del Rio then cuts a promo about how he will win the Rumble. But everyone else is talking about Batista, kind of teasing a Batista feud. I don't know. I don't want to see that.
No. God, no.
Yeah. Says he will eliminate Batista and everyone else on his way to a second Royal Rumble victory. Don't care. Daniel Bryan wants to tag with Rowan or Harper next week, but it was later announced that he will tag team with Bray Wyatt next week against, I forget,
the Usos. Backtracking quickly to Del Rio, nobody is hurt more than him by the world title being consolidated or unified. I mean, because what do you do with this guy? To me, he's not believable as the potential champion. No. With all of the guys going for one belt now. But WWE, don't change it. I like it. Do not change it. Do not go to 2 belts. No. And then with the Wyatt-Bryan connection here, this could be... This is where I suspend my disbelief again, and I could look deep. I could go to R² circle or whatever you said and kind of find out what's going to happen, but I really don't want to know. I think you're going to see Bryan and Wyatt work so well together that they end up splitting from Harper and Rowan. And then I could see Bryan double-crossing Wyatt. That he...
The Rumble?
That he would, at some point, either that... I don't see it going beyond that. I don't know. It's tough to say, but I could see him doing this as his way of beating the Wyatts, that he had to divide and conquer, or that he had to inject himself into that group in order to split them up.
Sure.
And that could be...
Keep your enemies closer, kind of deal.
Yeah. Or, he tried to beat them and couldn't beat them.
Yeah.
So.
I think a lot of things are going to come to a head at the Royal Rumble. I think the Shield is going to combust. I think the Harper Daniel Bryan stuff is going to play out. Batista coming back. What's Lesnar going to do? Is Lesnar going to be in a match? Is he going to be in the Rumble? I think it'd be silly not to have him in the Rumble. Just as far as like, wow, another guy who could potentially win.
Yeah, I think he'd have to be, unless they're going to have him fight Mark Henry in a one-on-one match. That doesn't mean that
Mark Henry has a broken arm, though. Remember?
Oh God, that's right.
Big Show.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, how did I forget?
We'll talk about that.
Now, here's a question that I have. Do you think that they will do their annual cuts post WrestleMania to the degree where you're going to see them getting rid of guys like Zack Ryder and guys that they're not using on TV, or because the business is evolving into what it is now with this group of part-timers that while we are seeing the same amount of TV, but they still have a ton of live events. They're wrestling a lot. So we're seeing guys. There are guys who wrestle that we just aren't seeing on TV very much. We're not seeing The Miz very much. We're not seeing Zack Ryder, as I said. Brodus Clay and Tensai weren't on this week. AJ wasn't on this week. And there are plenty of women's wrestlers who you don't see from week to week. Are they going to keep everybody because of all the live events they do? And because they can afford to, now that they have this part-time system kind of in the works where, all right, you're going to be on for 3 months, then off for 3, then on for 3. What do you think they'll do? Do you think they'll cut a lot of guys, WrestleMania-wise, after WrestleMania?
Usually they bring up people. They haven't done many cuts lately. They really haven't. It's always additions rather than...
I think the last guys they got rid of were Trent Beretta and Tyler Rex retired.
Tyler Rex, yeah. I can't even name another one.
That might be it. Yeah,
John Morrison.
Yeah, before that it might have been like Morrison and Chris Masters.
Yeah, it just I don't. I mean, I can see
Sin Cara, I guess.
Yeah, well, the character's still around. Hunico's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure a couple people might get lost in the wayside, but they do have a lot of content, a lot more than they ever had, especially with a new network being announced. Next match was Goldust taking on the Real Americans. Great match. Goldust gets a pin after his final curtain on Jack Swagger. Loved it. I thought the whole match was awesome.
Good as always, and I'm still incredibly impressed by Goldust. He looks, and they mentioned it on the show, he looks better than he did back when he was old school. I mean, he looks as good as he's ever looked. I mean, physically, he looks in better shape than he's ever been in.
Yeah, I was watching, like I said, WrestleMania 12, and he had a backstage brawl with Roddy Piper, and he looks in better shape now.
The Hollywood Backlot Brawl.
Yeah, you remember that? Huh?
I do.
Yeah, that was crazy. And they had like an O.J. Simpson type like car chase with them.
I remember that too.
It was pathetic. But yeah, so that's going on. But yeah, I love Goldust. I think he looks great. Our next match was Khali versus Sandow. Sergeant Slaughter is the guest referee. Khali wins. But Sandow's leg was clearly on the rope. Sandow freaks out and gets put into the Cobra Clutch from Sergeant Slaughter. Kind of a throwaway match. Brock Lesnar came out next with Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman says, old school is when one man reigns supreme and everyone in the locker room challenges that man to be the champion. Mentions people like San Martino, Hulk Hogan, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's how it is again today because there's only one champion. That champion will have to take on Bork Laser at Elimination Chamber. And he was completely right. And this is what we've been calling for, and I'm so glad that they finally did it, is to have, there's 6-7 guys who could believably have a match and potentially win that title. And it's always exciting, like, who's going to get the next shot? Is he going to be able to beat this guy? It became too predictable when they had two champions, because there's only so many guys that could potentially actually win this title. It just doubles the amount of people who could potentially pull off a win and make it less predictable. That's just my opinion on it. But he says he eats, sleeps, conquers, and then repeats. Mark Henry then comes out again and tries to attack Lesnar, but he's already beat up. Lesnar breaks his arm in the Kimura lock, breaks in quotes, and rips Henry's shirt off.
I'm pretty sure he broke it.
Yeah, I'm legit, yeah. Then that's when the Big Show enters and just manhandles Brock. We'll see.
You know who I thought was going to come out even before Mark Henry came out?
Who?
Undertaker. I thought
What is
with
that?
Heyman just constantly is talking about eat, sleep, conquer, repeat. And right before he said that, he said something that made me think of The Undertaker. I can't remember what it was, but I thought Taker was going to come out.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah. And it would have been the second year in a row he came out during Old School Raw.
Exactly. Yeah. Old School Raw was in like March last year, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Was it February or March?
It was either late February or early March.
Okay. I don't know what this is doing to Henry, though. I don't like it.
Me neither. But if you're going to put over Brock Lesnar as a credible threat to both the WWE World Heavyweight Championship and potentially The Undertaker at WrestleMania, I understand it.
Yeah.
That's how Lesnar should be booked. I mean, the guy is a monster.
Yeah.
He could beat anyone in that locker room at any time he wants. Literally. Like, he should be the most dangerous man in that ring, and they booked him like it, and I love it.
Yeah, I'm okay with him fighting Show. That's fine.
As long as he just demolishes him. If he loses, I'm going to be very upset.
It would make zero sense for him to lose, especially if he is going to be in the Chamber main event. How could he do that off a loss to the Big Show at Rumble? That'd be stupid.
It'd be really stupid. The Bellas took on Alicia Fox and Oksana. Oksana gets another pinning Brie Bella after the missed drop kick. Second Oksana pin on Raw in a row.
Yeah, and she won on SmackDown this past Friday, I think, too.
Yeah, and she's got that silk stockings theme for her theme. I guess she's getting a push, I guess.
Good. I say good because there was a while where I would forget that she was employed by the company.
Yeah.
And sometime last year, I was like, I got to find out more about this lady. Like, what is she? I didn't realize she was this successful bodybuilder model.
Really?
And completely changed her look for WWE. She used to have long blonde hair. And I thought, this woman was a successful bodybuilder, and now she's just like wasting away in WWE. But now they're giving her a chance. I'm happy to see it. Plus, they need some kind of villain in addition to AJ. Someone else that actually wins matches and does stuff. So I'm cool with it.
Cool.
Yeah. You will be too. Give it time.
All right. I haven't seen much from her that is impressed, but I'll give her a shot. I mean, if they're going to ever do something with her, why not now? But yeah, she wins the match, and next up we had an old school match. We had 3MB versus Too Cool, and this was awesome. Scotty 2 Hotty hitting his worm. Awesome. Rikishi gets the pin, and then they do their little dance. Scotty 2 Hotty looked like he never left the ring.
He still wrestles quite a bit.
Does he?
Yeah, he's a firefighter now.
Yeah.
But he wrestles on independent shows quite a bit, and he's clearly stayed in shape.
Yeah. I mean, the look on his face, I mean, it was just like it was 1999 all over again. It was awesome. He hits the worm. It looked like he was good to go.
I noticed during their entrance that he was on Rikishi's right, like he always was, and Grandmaster Sexay, for whatever reason, went over to the same direction, even though he was always on Rikishi's left when they would come out, or he was always on the left side. I guess our right if we're staring at them. And Scotty 2 Hotty was like, what? He bumped into him, and then Scotty just went the other way. Then. Yeah, but it was kind of funny.
The Godfather came out and led a whole legend train from the backstage. Scotty 2 Hotty, Grandmaster Sexay, Booker T, Rikishi, Nikolai Volkov, Sergeant Slaughter, Erwin R. Shyster, IRS, Bob Backlund, Ted DiBiase, Arn Anderson, Roddy Piper, Ron Simmons, DDP, and Ric Flair. They were all talking and having a good time until Bad News Barrett has something to say. He needs some decorum. He's got some bad news. Flea markets across the U.S. were driven into a frenzy because none of their legends were available to sign 25-year-old photos of themselves. Said their futures are doomed to anonymity. He will take great pleasure forgetting their names immediately, as will all of the fans.
I love Bad News Barrett. I love it.
I like it now that it's not just like him at a podium. He just rises from somewhere and starts yelling, bad news.
I love the, I'm afraid I've got some bad news. And his, can I get some decorum? I love the hashtag BNB now.
Yeah.
Which is great because every time I see BNB, I think of a bed and breakfast. I love it. Oh, I love it. And I guarantee you hated it.
I did hate it.
I can tell you're getting close to loving it.
I do enjoy it now.
Good.
Because the lift is what, because he rises so high in the air for no reason at all. He's just like, guess what, motherfuckers? I got some bad news. And he looks down on everyone. I'm enjoying it because I didn't expect it then. I'm not gonna. I haven't expected it the last couple weeks. But when he first came out, it's just like, oh, here's another Bad News Barrett segment. And I'm like, oh, okay. But
Yeah,
the unexpectedness of it is fun.
The cherry picker's been a good way to have it come out of nowhere instead of him waiting by the announce table.
Yeah. Mean Gene comes out, announces the New Age Outlaws in, introducing CM Punk. But I love Mean Gene. He's still got the voice of a god. I loved his joke about the backstage news, and you can call in. It's only $5.95 a minute. I love that because all the old wrestling promos had those those phone numbers that you can call in for.
1-900-909-9900. I think.
Wow, that's beyond me. I don't remember the number.
My only regret is that you and I never got a chance to eat at the Mean Gene's restaurant together
in Duluth. Yeah. I still can't believe there was an actual one in Duluth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. Mean Gene's.
Mean Gene's Burgers.
Mean Gene Okerlund. He's the greatest.
Greatness. And that led us to our main event, Roman Reigns taking on CM Punk. I was excited all week for this match, and it didn't let down. Roman Reigns wins. He gets a huge spear after Punk takes out Dean Ambrose, who's on the apron. Just perfect storytelling. I love it. Reigns had to win this match. He just had to for storyline reasons, for his character, for the Shield, for CM Punk.
Mm-hmm.
Everything made sense. It was set up well. The match was awesome. It was just everything I like in wrestling. And that's what I liked.
It was perfect, and I could see Punk taking great pleasure in being the one to lose this match to Roman Reigns. And you saw it in his entrance, you saw it in the match, and you saw it at the end that he's a believer in Reigns and the Shield. He's been a big supporter of those guys from the beginning, and it was a huge win for Reigns. And I loved seeing just a great spear.
Oh, it was a sweet. It was a good match. I love watching those guys wrestle, and it was big. I even fast clapped after Reigns got the pin, and that was against my one of my favorite. You do
guys.
do that,
Yeah. There's a story behind that one I probably shouldn't say on here.
Right.
But I do it for a reason.
After I believe you. Here come after the match. Out one of the greatest theme songs ever, Jake the Snake.
It was almost like the beginning of the movie Drive.
Yeah, it was very 80s style,
Drive-esque song.
Out comes Jake the Snake. Love the music. The Outlaws take out Reigns and Rollins to clear the ring. GTS to Dean Ambrose, and Jake brings out his snake, puts it out onto an unconscious smiling.
Yeah, I know. Like, I bet the kid in Dean Ambrose was doing backflips, and you could see it on his face. He was just like...
The story behind Dean Ambrose and Jake the Snake is kind of interesting. I don't know if you've heard this.
No, I haven't.
Dean Ambrose had quit wrestling at one point, and he wasn't going anywhere. He didn't like... the business wasn't what he thought it would be. And he got back into it because of, after watching Jake the Snake, his ring psychology, and just pouring over Jake the Snake and his ring psychology and everything. And that's when he came up with his unique character. What was his name?
John Moxley.
Moxley, the kind of loner outcast. And that's when he became Johnny Moxley and began his rise to where he is now. So Jake the Snake was a huge influence on Dean Ambrose's career, and Dean Ambrose would not be in that ring without Jake the Snake. And for Jake the Snake to then come out and get the snake on him had to have been just like a dream come true. And I loved the moment. I thought it was awesome. And for Jake the Snake to come back was incredible too. Just two cool stories intertwining, and I loved every second of that main event and the finish to it.
Jake the Snake being there, he's a guy, along with Scott Hall, who you would hear for years, and you could throw X-Pac in this, where people would say, like, they're going to be the next ones to die. And Jake, along with Scott Hall, they've made incredible strides thanks to DDP, who also was there. It was cool to see DDP.
Yeah.
Through DDP and everything he's done working with them. So for him to be there was a huge victory for Jake's life. And maybe we'll see him at the Rumble. Who knows?
Ooh.
As a surprise entrant.
That'd be cool.
It was. I didn't know that Ambrose story. I think that's awesome. Where'd you see that?
On Reddit.
Okay.
You need to get on Reddit.
I do. That's very cool. And the lead up to that, the CM Punk spinning him over his shoulders and then giving him the GTS. Great way to finish it.
Just loved every second of that main event. And I'm honestly, this has been a really good couple week build to the Rumble. Next week, I'm excited for. And then the week after that, we got the go-home show with Batista coming back. This is my favorite time of the year. Everything just kind of comes. We still got returns from The Undertaker to look forward to, possibly Chris Jericho. That Hulk Hogan ever-present Sting still might sign a contract. You never know.
That'd be crazy.
And
you're going to have Shawn Michaels appearances, whether he wrestles or not. My money's on him not wrestling, but he'll be there. I mean, he'll be at the news conference tomorrow.
Yeah.
I love this because it's important that the Rumble have multiple storylines that mean something going into it. But right now, they have several significant and interesting storylines. And that's not to exclude that, oh, by the way, Cody and Goldust are still tag team champions.
Yeah.
And they still could have a split eventually where they do fight at Mania like we've heard for a year or so.
Yeah.
And then you have Swagger and Cesaro, who to me look great every week.
Yeah.
And they don't need to be headline news because there's so much else going on, but that doesn't necessarily take away from what they're doing.
They do have that one throwaway match a night, which I'm fine with, the Khali versus Sandow stuff, the Santino versus whoever. But their other storylines are taken very seriously, and I'm enjoying that they're actually taking time and care on these storylines and following through with them. Daniel Bryan, you could say he was mishandled, but I think he has been handled fairly well. I mean, we barely even mentioned John Cena today, and Randy Orton. They're going for the title, and we're more interested in all this other stuff happening, which I think is a good sign. It is.
It's good. I think, to me, the belt always will be the best.
Yeah.
It'll always be the top thing. So if you can, and there will be people who disagree with me that it sucks that it's in the spot it's in right now, that you have Cena and Orton fighting for it, no one's talking about it. But I would argue that we know that it's guaranteed to be there. It will not lose significance. And because it's been unified, it has even more significance to me. It also gives more significance to the IC title, as we've mentioned. But if we can guarantee that is going to be interesting no matter who's there, but also take an interest in stories away from it, that's even better.
Yeah.
And then the next night after a pay-per-view, when you have any number of the guys we've been interested in come out and call out the champion and challenge for it, that'll get you amped beyond belief. When Reigns does challenge for it, or when CM Punk challenges for it, or when the Wyatts challenge for it. I mean, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see it, and I'm excited to see where things go with the Wyatt storyline, especially with Bryan. I know they're kind of playing with things. I saw some photos from a house show where he had the same outfit on, but he had kind of like the tattered sleeves.
Yeah.
And I see that they had the clean, no sleeves, which I kind of like. It looked like he was going to fix somebody's car, but it's going to be interesting. I have a feeling that by summer you're going to see Bryan holding the gold and big baby face again. Because you can tell the crowd's not ready to turn on him because they think he may be playing the Wyatts,
and they're sympathetic towards him too. They've been just as frustrated as Daniel Bryan has been about his inability to hold on to a title, being screwed over. The fans are Daniel Bryan right now, basically. And, even I can understand, okay, yeah, he's fed up and he's tired. If you can't beat him, join him kind of mentality. I kind of understand that. He's been tossed to the wolves so many times and he's just screw this, I'm tired of it.
I think we're going to see Kane come into that feud, though. Because because Bryan mentioned backstage that he was I think he even said I was the tag team champions or whatever, but he mentioned being champions with Kane.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see Kane get involved there in some way.
Interesting. Yeah, I always forget about Kane though. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's our show for today.
It's good to be back
on
Podbean. Remember, find us on podbean.com or Podbean.
Podcastimmortals.podbean.com. You can also go to our blog, podcastimmortals.wordpress.com. We should probably change that. Spend the $10 for the year and get it just podcastimmortals.com.
That'll be easier.
We're gonna start updating that. Look as much as we can.
Look for posts, regular posts, not just the podcast. We'll be posting stories. We'll be writing blog posts. We'll be, just putting down our thoughts and looking for some interaction. Facebook.com/podcast of the Immortals. @ImmortalsPcast on Twitter.
Thanks to all of our new followers. We've noticed we've gotten a few more, which is nice. So thank you for all of our new listeners and followers, and we appreciate it. So, yeah.
Yeah, @97Bush for you.
Oh, yeah, @97Bush.
@Jimmy Bellamy. But yeah, can't thank you guys enough. 56 episodes in. We're plugging away and approaching 1 year. Also, shout out to the PBI guys, PBI Wrestling guys.
Yeah.
We're going to see you guys at Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Maybe we can have a podcast crossover.
Ooh.
Minnesota Wrestling Podcast. PBI guys. I would advise anybody to check those guys out. They're pretty fun.
Yeah.
And everybody have a great week.
Yeah.
And this is where you say peace.
Peace.
Bye. Put some chappy on.
Okay. Do you want to play some WWE 2K14?
Quote those lips.